Right there. You are live. Hello, we are live. And then we'll go live here. I think.
So many.
I know.
So many options. It's crazy.
There we go. Right? Hello. Oh, crap. No. Sorry.
But we're live. Are we on Facebook?
We should be.
Okay.
We should be everywhere. We should be everywhere. Somebody's there now, in theory, depending on... Good evening. It's almost 6 o'clock and almost time for First Page Sundays. But it's not quite 6 o'clock, so we're just running a new test. We're going to some new platforms tonight, all at the same time. Dun, dun, dun. So we'll see how that goes. In theory, we'll get comments here. I don't know if that's true. If we do, exciting. Then we can share them to everybody. So if you're watching, somebody's, or maybe that's you.
Oh, no. It's me and Mary.
Mary. Would you write a comment, please? Richard, oh, there's Richard. Check this out.
Can you hear me?
Richard, can you hear me? Show. Look, and now he shows up there. Richard, can you see that? Can you see that we just quoted you on the feed? Because that would be super awesome. Now, how do I get rid of it? Oh, I guess we can leave it up for as long as we want to.
Oh, look at that.
That's super cool. All right, so at least one of the Facebook things.
I can't even, I don't know if that's your actual last name.
Yes, Michelle. She went to Camelback.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. All right, so far so good. Now let's see if we're doing, see, now here we are on Twitch.
All right.
Which we don't have to pay attention to, but, well, we do have to pay attention to. But anyway, so we're live on Twitch, and then in a perfect world, we'll be live. And look, here we are on Twitter too. Very good. All right, so that's working.
Revolutionary, you guys.
I know. Let's see, and we got a very...
Do you rim and note C? Michelle, here's what I want to know. I have two questions for you. One, how long did it take you to be able to know how to write that out in that way? And my second question is, how many times have you had, like, in a week, do you have to do that for sad people like me?
You're not sad.
It's okay.
So we should be, I think, everywhere. We appear to be up everywhere. So
that's so exciting.
I see Manatee statues are actually surprisingly comfortable. I think we'll just share that with everybody in case anybody's missing it. Oh, what I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So that comment won't show up on Twitch or Twitter because we're not this particular platform for that. Okay. So if you're, it's 6 o'clock. Hey, look at that. Welcome to First Page Sunday. My name is Tom Levine, and I'm an award-winning novelist with imprints of, well, what was once Random House and Shine Schuster, and I guess is now just Random Schuster or whatever the hell they're... Whatever.
Is that going to be their new
I'm sure I'm not the first person to make that joke. Anyway, with me, as always, is the lovely and talented Joy, here to help us critique the first pages of some published and unpublished work, to help you writers get put the best page forward for editors, agents, and readers. I've never said that before, right? Somebody write that down, best page forward. And Justin's here. Good, Justin can hear us. This is awesome. So we're trying some new... we're actually out to 5 different pages today, which is different for us, and it seems to be working, which I'm very excited about. We are on 2 separate Facebook pages, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So this is pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I cannot see all of the comments from all of those places, but if you're watching on any of those pages, go ahead and leave comments and I will see them later. Ask questions, do whatever. And let's see, it's 6:01. That's how long it took you. 6:01. 1 minute, literally 1 minute. Literally 1 minute. Anyway, we haven't started reading yet, so I guess it's okay. So welcome, everybody. If you're new to the show, what we do is we read the first page, generally, of someone's unpublished manuscript of fiction. Not always fiction and not always unpublished. It just depends. And then we give it a fair, honest, and friendly critique to help the writer. One of the rules that we have here is that, generally speaking, the writer will be present on one of these pages, one of these platforms, so that they can hear these comments live and in person. Or, of course, we'll also leave these up on the site so you can go back and look at them later. But we do not identify the writer. That is up to the writer to do in the chat if he or she wishes, but we will not identify the writer. So they can just sit back and listen and take in the critique and whatever. And you at home always, as always, are welcome to play along off your comments and thoughts and critiques, and just make them, helpful but friendly. Because again, it's hard enough being a writer without having to deal with a bunch of people being mean. But we've got a very kind community here, so let's just keep that going.
Everybody be kind.
Everybody be kind, right, Beans? Yeah. 1 minute. I don't think it's a record, but
Well, okay, but we also went live like 5 minutes early. So does that give her 6 minutes?
I might be willing to give her the 6 minutes. Hi, very soon we're going to read our page. So that's our introduction. We're going to get going here with a new page. I'll switch over here now, hopefully. Now what I've done, we are obviously in the Joy and Tom studios here in lovely Phoenix, Arizona. And I've just switched over my pages. Hopefully you guys can still hear and see me just fine without any problem.
I think so.
It looks okay?
I still see us.
Okay, awesome. So what we've got tonight, I've read through several of this. It's a long submission. We're just going to do the first page as always, but there's going to be some really good stuff to talk about with this submission for tonight. So without further ado, tonight's submission to First Page Sunday is called Assassinating Justice. And this is a prologue, and I know that because it says prologue right at the top, so you can't miss it.
That's fancy.
Here we go. Page 1 of Assassinating Justice.
Okay.
This is the prologue. Kabul Province, Afghanistan. As Captain Sandra O'Reilly slowed and brought the AH-1Z attack chopper around to the requested heading, everything changed. Instincts brought her eyes left, just as something shattered the night with an ear-splitting explosion that violently rocked their helicopter. This wasn't supposed to happen, Sandra frantically thought. Where the hell was the warning indicator that a SAM had been launched? But it wasn't a surface-to-air missile. I'm going to go back to Sandra. Sandra's hard to say. Sandra instinctively pushed the nose down to gain airspeed and bring the chopper under control as she fought for their lives, gripping the stick with both hands. The helicopter was badly wounded, with one part demanding to fly, the other part demanding to plummet. The ground was rising fast, and she knew disaster loomed if she did not bring it under control, but she needed the airspeed to make that happen. The thin air in the mountains did not make any of this easier. If something didn't change, they were not going to see tomorrow. The sky was filled with a full moon and stars like she never saw at home, unless she was up north in Maine where her grandparents lived. Now those same stars were flashing past the spinning cockpit as she struggled to get it under control, her goggles fogging due to the excessive perspiration coming from every pore in her body, while the oxygen reached her lungs through short, choppy breaths as the G-forces pounded her petite frame. She had had a premonition about flying with a full moon that made the night sky look like day, but she didn't believe in such things, and she certainly wasn't a coward, so she hadn't thought twice about the situation, though she had thought once. Ground control, this is Slapshot. I'm declaring an emergency, Captain O'Reilly said in a short, clipped professional tone. We may be going down. Captain O'Reilly and Major Hernandez had left Bagram Forward Operating Air Base at 1600 hours in a 5-ship flight with their commanding officer and the other AH-1Z Viper attack chopper and 3 transport helicopters. They were soon slicing through the air at over 150 knots, skimming above the brush and the rocky crags in the mountains of Afghanistan. Flying still held a thrill for Sandra, though that wasn't something you talked about as a U.S. Marine Corps helicopter pilot. The vehicle had a top speed of over 200 knots and was outfitted with a digital cockpit, absent any of the old analog gauges of its predecessor, the AH-1W Super Cobra. The Zulu's equipment, as it was known, included an early warning system for the ground-to-air missiles that the Taliban liked to employ when they could get their hands on them, and the newly improved TSS ground scanning radar. One more. Not everyone liked deploying overseas, but the truth was, she did. It freed her from the stateside bureaucracy and gave her the chance to excel with everything on the line, which was why she joined the Marines in the first place. She loved the camaraderie and sense of purpose that made the grueling missions and long hours worth it, most of the time. And there we go. That's approximately page 1 of Assassinating Justice. So much to talk about.
Yes.
I think. So
I'm excited.
Let's start with the prologue. Now, if you're, well, you guys can still, we're still on, right?
Yep. We're all good.
Okay.
We're all good.
So just trying to remember to adjust the lenses and not the screen.
Yes.
For those of you who've been around the show for a little while, you know that I have a thing about prologues, and that generally speaking, I'm opposed to them. Kind of as a blanket thing, I just don't generally approve of prologues. For tonight's submission, I'm going to backtrack that and say I think this prologue is completely appropriate because I have the benefit of having read ahead and know where chapter 1 picks up and where the rest of the story picks up. And because of that, I think this prologue actually works. I think it was well thought out, and I think is going to serve the correct purpose of a prologue, which is to give us a nice introduction to our main character and to not necessarily what's going to happen in the rest of the story, because that part I'm not sure about. I don't have the whole novel in front of me. But it definitely gives us a great action-filled introduction to somebody we're going to be spending a lot of time with. We're going to spend the whole book with this character. So I'm going to, for this one, I'm going to say yes to the prologue. I think it works.
Which is an interesting, because then it's this idea of, every kind of rule or guideline can be broken in, depending on the circumstance.
Absolutely.
Which I like.
Now, if I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that this writer has some experience in the military, possibly as a helicopter pilot, but even if not, definitely some sort of I've been there, done that kind of thing, because there's these little things that someone like me, so right now I'm working on a science fiction novel that is either second world or future, something like that, but it's definitely militaristic. And I'm researching the hell out of this stuff. Also getting scared to death, by the way. If you really don't want to go to sleep tonight, go check out what's the technology site I was just looking at. Anyway, the robot that can do backflips.
Oh my goodness.
Bipedal robot backflips. We are doomed. We are so fucking doomed, you guys. Anyway.
We are not.
So I'm doing a lot of research for that. Also, one of my good friends is still in the Army. Actually, has been for, 58 years now, it feels like. And so he's my go-to guy. But hey, what do you say when you want to do this? He's like, you don't say that. You say it like this. Okay, great. But this has the feel of somebody who knows a little bit more than I do, because I don't sense a struggle to rate this. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if the way it's flowing, this feels like, oh yeah, It feels like this. Now, it's not... Yeah. It's also accessible. Like, I love in this first paragraph that we have the, where the hell's the warning indicator that a SAM had been launched? The next sentence is, but it wasn't a surface-to-air missile. So if you're new to it, if you're not in the military, or you're not new, or if you're new to this genre, you don't have to go, what the hell's a SAM? Right. Because it's given to us. Oh, and the writer slips it in very smooth, very easy. We go right through it and go on to the next paragraph. That's really laudable. I really like that.
Yeah. In that particular example, and obviously everyone who's joining us can't see it, but the where the hell was the warning indicator that a SAM had been launched was clearly her thought, and actually is it's in italics. And so then when it's surface to air missile, it's actually back in regular font, which to me is entirely appropriate, because in her head, she's not thinking. I mean, she's a Marine helicopter pilot. She's not thinking surface to air missile. Correct. She's thinking SAM, because that's all she needs. Yep. So that was a nice clues to the reader of what, just helping me get oriented, while also staying true to the character, that the character isn't going to say and think surface to air missile. Yep. Like a novice like me would need to.
Yeah, agreed. And kind of along the same lines, the title, Assassinating Justice.
Yeah.
This is probably not a pastoral romance. It's probably not a YA. It could be, but it'd be a really stupid title if it was a pastoral romance. Maybe Justice is a red-haired lady, who's working on her Amish farm.
It could be.
I don't know. I've read Stranger Things. But generally speaking, if we're in the bookstore and we're browsing in our specific genres and whatever, and we see the title Assassinating Justice, we have really just narrowed down the likely genres that this book is going to be. I really like that. That is sometimes a very hard thing to do. It's probably easier in thrillers, in military sci-fi, things like that. Like, one of my favorites is Wes Oakes. You guys have met Wes before. He's been on the show. One of his series is called SEAL Team 666. Boom! That is a brilliant title. Like, right out of the gate. Everything you need to know. Absolutely everything you need to know. Killer title, Wes. Well done there. Yeah. But again, Assassinating Justice, like, it's probably some kind of thriller. It may get a little legal, perhaps. military. Like it's just narrowed down, and I really appreciate that about the title. So well done there. Knowing what I know about where the story is going, it also has not a double entendre, but like a double meaning. There's like extra meaning in the two words, and you're smart. You can figure it out. So yeah, very cool there. Now, moving on, you're following along at home. Here's what I noticed, and this is so common, and I still struggle with it, and I don't worry about it until revision. But this is something I advise all of my writers to do at some point. Once you have your finished first draft done, I want you to go through and do a search for the word was, W-A-S. Search for the word was. Every time it pops up, see if you can rewrite that sentence to not include the word was. And if you can, generally speaking, go with that new sentence. And I'll give you some examples. The sky was filled with a full moon. Well, there's nothing wrong with that sentence. I would rewrite it to a full moon filled the sky. A little bit cleaner, a little bit sharper. It just sounds better to me. They were soon slicing through the air at over 150 knots. Cool, nothing wrong with it. Or you could say they sliced through the air at over 150 knots. You know, flying still held a thrill for Sandra. Nothing wrong with that. Or you could say flying still thrilled Sandra. Look for those opportunities to get rid of some of that passive voice whenever you can. It just tightens things up. It's an easy thing to do. You can't get rid of the word all the time. Like in the next paragraph, we've got, not everyone likes deploying overseas, but the truth was she did. Well, you're not going to replace that use of the word was. Doesn't make any sense to replace that one. We're just using it in like these descriptive kind of areas. It really tightens things up. And again, that's not a rule. That's what I like to do. That's what I recommend doing. But no, editor or reader for that matter, anyone's gonna be like, you didn't change your was's, you're fired. It doesn't work that way. But it will help your story a lot in my experience and in my opinion. So yeah, I do like that. There's something else there. That was kind of the main thing. Like, we're starting with action. That was the other thing. Like, boom, action, cool. Now, you might, I'm trying to think, how would I say this? There is, to some degree, there are some writers or editors who would say, well, don't start with like an explosion or something like that because we haven't connected to the character yet. Like, introduce us, give us a little bit of an intro before putting them in any kind of peril so that we can appreciate that they're in peril instead of just bam, there we go. Normally, again, this I think this submission is making me backtrack of a lot of my normals here, my normal things. Yeah. In that, normally I would tend to agree with that. If you can give us a little bit more of an intro before imperiling our character, try to do that. However, I think the difference here is we've got, I'm just making an assumption here, but the very first sentence is Captain Sandra O'Reilly slowed and brought the AH-1Z attack chopper around to the requested heading. Everything changed. That's all we've got. Frankly, I don't know if this is just me, but like I'm already in for two reasons. Number one, I don't know if I knew in the back of my head that an AH-1Z was an American helicopter. I assume it is. I believe it is. That's what I just, we're in Afghanistan. Captain O'Reilly, probably an American, because I don't think the Irish are flying a lot of helicopters in Afghanistan. Maybe they are. I don't know. But she's probably American. And I believe this is an American helicopter. So right off the bat, as an American reader, I'm like, America, fuck yeah. Like, I kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm already, there's a little bit of a thing there. Like I don't have to get adjusted. It's my culture. You've
already identified with the character. You've already made the connection.
Yes.
And I was going to say the same thing is that, if it's true that it's better to get us a little bit connected with the character before jumping into action, if that's kind of the working theory, what this, kind of page and a half or so does is it already incorporates connecting with the main character in the midst of action without, at least to me, slowing down the action. And I am already in. So you've got the whole America thing. I've got the holy crap, this is a female helicopter pilot.
That was number two.
Right, exactly. So I am already, again, and I'm not a military or even, John Grisham. I don't know if that's counts as legal, you know, thriller stuff still.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that's other than John Grisham. Like, I don't read legal thrillers, and yet I'm already in because you have chosen, you author, have already chosen things that help me identify with her, and you've done a good job of blending the action and those connection points. And so, yeah, I love it.
I was gonna,
I really like that it's action right away.
I was gonna say the second thing that makes me connect is that this is a female pilot. Now, is that sad and a commentary on me? Sure, but it's still true. Like, I'm guessing statistically, not a lot of female helicopter pilots. I'm sure there's more now than there was 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 50 years ago, right? Cool. Regardless, there's no reason to fight. Like, you're not going to win that fight. You're not going to.
It's still something of note.
It's still something of note at this point in our history.
Right.
Cool. And it's a great choice. Like, why not have a female helicopter pilot and then a female lead character in whatever, wherever the story is going to go. That's not new to any of these genres, by the way. This isn't breaking new ground. However, it's still nice to have it. It's still good to have more of it. There's plenty more, which on a side note, I would also add, because I see this cropping up in places like Quora or in other writing groups online where someone will write a story or is thinking about a story and then say, oh, so-and-so just came out with that book, I guess I can't submit mine. Like, no. Again, no one has told this story. You have not told this story yet. So what is it? What is the, based on what we know, what can we say about this? A U.S. Marine helicopter pilot fights to avenge some great crime that has been done in her home city, maybe, or something like that, right? Well, have you read that book? Because I have. We've all read that fucking book. That's not a problem. I haven't read your version of that story. Right.
That does not invalidate your idea, your take, your characters, the way that you approach the story, the situation. Yep. Absolutely. I'm excited.
Yeah. So I'm trying to.
Do you want any outside? Sorry.
Oh yeah. Let me do one more bit, and then we'll go to comments here. This in the second paragraph, we have the helicopter was badly wounded, with one part demanding to fly, the other part demanding to plummet. There's a phrase for what that is. It's not. Oh shoot! If somebody can read my mind and tell me what there's a word for this where you're endowing an inanimate object with human characteristics. Oh crap! I just can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Anyway, I'm not fundamentally opposed to doing that. I do it. We all do it at some point. The trick is finding when it works and when it anthropomorphic.
Yes.
I think it's anthropomorphic. So we're anthropomorphizing the helicopter.
Well done.
I just tore my tongue.
Done for the day.
The helicopter, because I'm not going to say it again. And that's okay, but it's the only time we do it. And that, I would say to the writer or to writers in general with something like that, I would either lean into the anthropomorphizing of a helicopter and give us that more than once, or rephrase and reframe this bit about the demanding flight. Now, the sentence itself makes perfect sense. I don't even know if I've ever been in a helicopter, but I get that sense of like, oh yeah, I could feel like this part wants to go down and this part wants to go up. I get a physical sense of what that must feel like, which is another thing that makes me believe that this is probably a helicopter pilot or someone who's been in helicopters before.
Not unfamiliar with the feeling.
That push-pull of like, oh crap, because it's not like a plane, right? It's very different. But yeah, I would commit to one, like really, because you know how, I don't know, I'm going to think, for some reason the A-Team comes to mind, but you know the A-Team, right? I know you all know the A-Team. And we've got the black van with the red stripe. Like the van is a character. Like that's the A-Team van. That's BA's van. And you don't mess with the van, right? Or Kit from Knight Rider or whatever. You jump into and lean into the vehicle as sort of having these human attributes, maybe a relationship. Like, does she always fly this helicopter or does it rotate? I don't know. If this is like her ride, then she would have a relationship like we do with our cars, right? You don't have to name the vehicle or anything necessarily, but again, like just consider, do you want to bring that out more and play more with that? Or if you're like, no, that's not at all where I want to go, then change the description of the demanding to fly, demanding to plummet, the fact that it was wounded. In fact, I literally within the last couple of days used the phrase wounded in my novel to refer to a mech that has a bad knee, and somebody's going around, it's like, oh yeah, busted up knee, it's wounded and whatever. Because that makes sense, and that's what the whole book is. It's a very humanoid shape, and it's a very specific relationship the character has to the machine. So I'm moving into it. This one, just one reference, I don't know. So I would think about that. Consider going one direction or the other with that. Yeah. Okay, what do we got?
Oh, goodness. Well, Mary definitely agreed with the rules are made to be broken.
Yes, good, Mary.
Totally with you, Mary. In fact, we were just discussing that with Toby the other day. Richard says, I would be curious to see how it would work if it was written as an official incident or briefing report. I enjoy that. Sam Cotton says, where is everyone? We're here, Sam. It's just, we're all in different pockets. We're here. We're here.
Thank you for caring, Sam.
Yes.
And if anybody has any ideas of how to get more people in, you let me know.
Here's my here, Sam. So Richard, I like that idea. Again, because I know a little bit about where the story is going. I would say maybe not for this one. Have it written as an official incident or briefing report. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's going a little bit more. I don't want to say
character driven.
Yeah.
Right. No,
but I mean, is it fair to say that it's not going to be? It's not going to remain a primarily military drama. Is that right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think the risk.
It would be interesting.
I think it's I think it's
a fun experiment.
And it might even for the writer be worth writing something like that, Richard. I would certainly consider it just as an exercise because you never know when that may come in handy later. My impulse without having read it would be to not. I would stick with this narrative rather than this sort of technical report. I guarantee there are books out there that do that and do it well.
Yeah.
But I would also think, having not read a lot in audio, if this is going to veer, if it's going to veer military, then maybe something like that would be cool because your military readers would be like, yeah, they're going to get all into it. Like I can see Stackpole doing that with like a BattleTech book or whatever, or Wes doing it in one of his books. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
If, however, this is going to veer more into like a legal thriller or just straight thriller or whatever, then I would stick with the narrative, I think, in that case. But
yeah,
good. Yeah. But it is an interesting idea.
There,
for sure.
There might be interesting things that you uncover that you wouldn't have known without doing that exercise, but I mean, so that's that's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we got on the Facebook feed side of things, as far as I can tell.
Awesome.
Those are the comments I can see.
Very good. So no, we don't have slow internet. Shut up. Anyway, so that was our submission.
Love it
for the evening, and I think that was a really good first couple of pages there.
Yeah. Some of us don't know where this is going. I know, Richard. I know you don't know. It's fine. And actually, I don't really either. But I have a little bit of
the whole thing
inside knowledge. But it would be
I know
fun.
I got like to this part, so I kind of but that's about it.
Right. I would definitely. So I would be curious because this is a new author submission, like a new writer to this. So I would love to know if the writer is willing to share tonight or wants to, share more later to say, what's your plan for this? Like, where do you hope this is going? Is it, are you thinking about publication? Is it far enough in terms of the writing that you're looking and considering, agents or that kind of thing? Because honestly, it's something I would be interested to read given what we've heard so far. So,
and as a
when can I buy
reminder, take my money. As a reminder, now I don't know about the Calibri. So the submission came to us in a Word doc, which is cool. But it's currently sort of formatted almost like it's going to be straight to Kindle or other ebook format. It's in 14-point Calibri. And it's single space paragraph with double space in between the paragraphs. Okay, which again, cool for like Kindle or ebooks. Not so cool if you're sending it into an agent or an editor. So just as a reminder, your best bet is to do double space all the way through, indent the first line by 0.3 to 0.5, and use something like Times New Roman. Don't use Arial or anything like that. Calibri is possibly accepted. I honestly don't know if that's an accepted font for most agents and editors these days or not. I do know that Times New Roman can do no wrong, so you're just generally better off doing it that way. Now, having said that, if this is how you want to format your first draft, you format your first draft however you want. If you want to write it in 20-point Comic Sans, be my guest. Whatever. As a matter of fact, one of the things, I believe it was Mike Stackpole at some point many years ago, recommended, I think it was him. If it wasn't him, he was there. He was part of the conversation. Anyway, he said, write your whole manuscript and then go back and change the font to something else, print it out and read it, and you will catch so much crazy stuff that you won't catch when you're revising on your screen, which is a brilliant idea. So compose however you want to. That's totally fine. But when you get ready for submission, I do highly recommend that you follow standard format, which is double space, 12-point, Times New Roman, indent the first line of each paragraph. You're just safer. That's the safest way to submit.
Right.
Even if there are exceptions, I think it's going to be
the most
risky.
Accepted across the board.
Across the board. Yep.
Good reminder.
Just a little tip there. Okay, we got anything else?
Okay, so the author has identified himself.
Sort of.
Kind of. Yeah.
It certainly looks that way without actually saying it. Okay.
Just for composing. Yeah. That's in terms of the format. It's, 10 chapters in.
Oh, bigger. Okay.
Totally. We're totally with you.
Okay,
there.
so that's David. Hey, everybody, say hi to David. We were waiting to see if David wanted to come forward. You've been outed, David.
Yeah, well, he outed himself, so
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, the dreams of what it could be feel too much to state. Can I just say
I didn't read that.
That is a great
it's a hobby. The dreams are gonna be
I just so resonate with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a beautiful way to say what every what everyone who feels creative and is let me try this maybe what we all secretly hold in our hearts. So I love it. Thank you, David.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's when I was first trying to get an agent and go all legit and everything, it was just about seeing the book. Just wanted to get somebody say, yeah, this is good, I'll publish it, and see it on the shelves, and that was it. Never mind whether it was Random House or whoever or how big. I didn't even know what the hell an advance was at that point. So I didn't know anything about that and got kind of thrown in feet first into the fires that are traditional publishing. Still have the scars to prove it. So yeah, and that's the main thing I would say, not just to you, David, but to everybody, all of my writers and creators who are watching, is don't let anybody else dictate to you what those dreams are. Because
that's good.
Now, I always come from a place of pragmatism and cynicism, so I try to teach that in my classes. No, I really do, baby.
I'm shocked.
Sorry that it came off. We're gonna have to close down now, everybody. Yeah, you're just better served being realistic. On the one hand, yes, you have to assume, I don't say the worst, but you have to assume things are going to be difficult. On the other hand, if you don't have those dreams too big to state, then what the hell are you doing? I still have those. I just don't focus on them. That's not where my energies are directed, but they're still there. Right. Why else would we do this? So yeah, keep it real, but keep it real not while you're composing. The reality stuff is a separate part. The business part, the reality, all that stuff, save it for later. Enjoy the dream, nurture the dream, and then get back to work. Finish the book. That's the main thing that we always kind of end with
Yeah.
here. Finish the book.
Yes. Yeah, 10 chapters in is fantastic. Finish the book. I
It
want to
is,
read it.
And if I'm trying to, I think it was Stephen King.
I love it.
Yeah, it was Stephen King in either, and I always mix these two up. It was either in his book on writing or in the introduction to Skeleton Crew. I don't remember which. I think it was one of those two. Anyway, he talks about like he goes everywhere he goes. If he's going to be standing in line somewhere, he brings a paperback book with him. Just that's what he's always done.
Sure.
And he says in one of these intros or books or whatever that, you know what, if I've done something that makes the line at the DMV go a little bit easier for you, then that's a win. You know, I've done my job. And that's a really great way to look at it.
Yeah.
Let's pretend, and not addressing David necessarily here, but all of us, like because I wrote many books before it occurred to me to get an agent. I was just having fun writing books. I had no clue what I was going to do with them. I read, Zero for 19 years because it was fun. I liked the characters. I liked the story. So I would go in and tinker with it and whatever. If writing a book or a story or whatever gets you through COVID, if it gets you through tax season, if it gets you through the holidays, if it gets you through whatever's going on at work and whatever, then that's a win. That's an absolute victory in and of itself.
Yeah.
Forget publishing, forget agents, forget what Tom says about formatting your 12-point font, whatever. If it gets you through the tough stuff, it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. So, let's see. We'll go ahead and put that up for. Whoa, now we're covered up. Chapter 1 starts 5 years later, which looks ridiculous on Twitter because we don't have this on Twitter. Senators now recently live clerks to the Supreme Court. So there's our justice thing. I told you guys the justice thing was in there.
Yay!
Until she crashed, and she started a stellar legal career. Nice. Romantic angle. Good. I'm glad there's a romantic angle.
I love it.
I find it hard to do those. I'm going to show that too. That's Richard. That's right. That was what, last week or the week before.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's okay, Richard. We often don't know where we're going to go. And it's kind of fun.
How many manuscripts would you say you have in some? Let's differentiate between like notes and you've actually written a scene, a character.
Yeah.
So like on the
some kind of narrative,
some kind of narrative, some kind of scene, story,
30 or more
thing, right?
At least I would say at least 30. At last count, it was 30.
So.
And that doesn't include stuff on my Trello board that's just like, here's an idea for a story. It's like something that's actually has some kind of legs to it. I would say 30.
Right.
And I want to write all of them. Like one way, and when I'm at the library where I work right now, and I like shelving, which gives you a lot of time, just kind of, it's very therapeutic. You guys, you should really get a job shelving books at a library. It's so zen. Just enough to keep you busy, so you don't fall asleep, but still think. That's not always a good thing for me.
Yeah.
But one of the things I keep thinking is like, by God, I'm going to write every single one of these stories one way or another.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to write all of them because by the time I get those 30 done, there's going to be 60 more in the hopper.
Absolutely.
I'm never going to finish all of them, but I'm going to try really, really hard. You know why? Because I want to see what happens.
Exactly.
Kind of like, honestly, what you're talking about, Richard. I want to know what happens. Whether Random House ever touches it, doesn't matter. I got to find out.
That's right.
That's very cool. So keep writing.
That's why someday we're going to have the little cottage in the English countryside with the outbuilding where you can go and
listen, David.
Hey, Mary.
David, don't watch Rick Steves and don't watch the Little House in the English Countryside show, whatever it is.
It's very bad. That's hilarious. So I was just going to say, Mary is in one of the other was in one of the other Facebook things. And she said, it's killing me being in the other Facebook chat. And then she said, tell David that we in the other chat think he did a great job.
Where's the other? I'm missing the other chat. I don't know where it's going on.
Well, I don't know.
I can't see everything. I can only see a few.
No. So and I don't know if it's me.
You're on my page. You're not on you're not on the author page right now.
Oh, that's what I did wrong.
So, no, that's fine. That's okay. That's funny though that we're there.
We're all over the place, friends. This is exciting. I don't even know.
Never mind. Oh, I probably can't even tell what's going on there. So yeah. Yeah, we always get the best freeze frames.
It's true.
Anyway, so
good job, David.
Yeah, David, I hope that is helpful.
Thanks,
Gives you some things to work on. Since you haven't tuned in, I'm going to repeat some things some of these folks have heard before. Number one is to finish the book, not just to finish it, but like don't worry over much about trying to revise or anything like that.
Yeah.
You have to have that finished book, which is hard to do. I'm struggling with that myself right now with this sci-fi book. Like, oh, but I need to go there. No, you don't. Stop. Finish the book. Then you can go back. Leave notes, put stickies, do whatever you got to do, but get the damn book out or you have nothing to play with. So make that kind of your job, right. I think. Yeah.
I like it.
High school. Sam. Oh, Sam. And I don't know.
So it's all good, Sam.
I love this feature though. This is so cool.
Yeah,
I'm digging this.
It's very fun.
Yeah. So professional.
It's something.
Yeah, the YouTube rabbit hole. Okay, so let's address that briefly, and then we'll wrap it up for tonight. So here's my new thing.
That's real.
And I managed to do it a little bit today. What I find that I now have to do, Richard, and all of you other creators out there, is I have to get up at like 4:30 in the morning. I used to do my training at 4:30 in the morning, and then realized I don't want to do that. So instead, I get up at 4:30 in the morning
because it's cold.
Because it's cold.
Phoenix cold.
And so like I'm sure you guys could probably do this on your computers as well. I have to sign in to my Windows thing, but I have a second sign in. And if I log into that, it doesn't have Chrome. It doesn't have any of my other programs. All it is my word processing stuff, and I just bank all of my whatever it is I'm going to be working on. I port that in to that sign in, so there's nowhere else for me to go. I have to turn my phone off and put it somewhere else. And like, okay, you've got maybe an hour before Sarah or somebody. Oh my God, is she asleep?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Let's leave her there. Let's just leave her. So that I don't go down those rabbit holes, because I absolutely will do it every single time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard. I've tried putting the little timer things on websites, so I stopped going to places. It doesn't work. So I was like, oh, but if I just go to the little 3-dot thing, what's the
the settings, the snowman,
incognito. Like I'll just go to incognito. It's not over, and I end up on the same damn website. So it is hard, but it's
got to do it.
You got to do it. Yeah,
yep.
I got to do it anyway. David, yes, of course.
Please ask.
Yeah. I only did it today, but it's working. I got 35,000 words for the Mecca book right now, which is good.
That's fantastic.
And a lot of people have voiced interest in it, so I feel like that one might be a winner. That might just
winner chicken dinner.
It just might be. I can't believe. So do you think?
I don't know.
That's
so while
so
David's
funny.
writing his question, so our youngest, who often appears on this show because she's asking for snacks, usually, and wants to see video of herself. She is completely sacked out on the couch, and the question is, was it because of the melatonin gummy I gave her an hour ago? Is it because she woke up in the middle of the night and decided that she needed to sleep in our bed for a portion of time and then need to come back?
Right, yeah.
Or is it because she just runs nonstop? As soon as she hits 6 a.m., it is nonstop, no rest, no breath until right now. So who knows what it is, but it's very funny. I think David had his.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
So yeah, David, what I would do at a quick read, honestly, I would. And what page is this? Of the sample you sent, this is page 7. We've got where to go. Oh, 47 minutes later, an Air Force PJ rescue team picked up their lifeless bodies and rushed them to the emergency field hospital Bagram Airfield in their HH-60G Pave Hawk helicopter. Period. I would stop there and then go into chapter 1. The rest of this is cool, but I think that leaves us with, well, then what the hell happened? Or
it definitely makes you want to turn the page.
Yeah, if you don't want to leave, because I assume they were all dead at first, of course. But if you want to even do like picked up 3 lifeless bodies and 1 traumatized, I don't know, maybe not, I'm not sure. But I like that. That's that just lands like their Pave Hawk helicopter, boom, done. And again, like I don't remember if you talk about the PJs up here. I don't think you do. Like I know what that is immediately. I don't know if people outside the genre will, and that's okay, because people who are probably going to read this when it's published are going to be like, yeah, Air Force PJ Rescue Team. Like they already know that.
I don't know what a PJ Rescue Team is.
Para-jump, para-jump, something like that. There was one of the kids at 20X was because what did our boss say? That is oh yes, yeah, because we were doing log PT. David, did you ever do log PT? I have. You probably did.
He was in the Air Force. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and go.
They don't all do log PT. So we were doing the overhead, just hold it up there, and this former or retired SEAL comes up to this kid. He's like 18 or 19 years old, and he's right at the front of the log, and he's just he's like this. Mark goes up there and just goes, "That is not the face of a pararescueman." I'm like, oh my god, I'm so glad I'm not him. But what man, he immediately just stone. He was ready to go. It was awesome. Man. Anyway, but they're the guys who jump out of helicopters and planes and rescue people. They are badasses. PJs are pretty. It's almost like if you took Navy SEAL and did less of the combat and all paramedic stuff, like rescue. It's like that. Yeah. They're. You want to be rescued. You want to be rescued by a PJ. I know that much. Anyway.
Fair.
Thank you guys all for tuning in, whatever platform you happen to be on. We'll probably keep going with this format.
Yeah,
because it's working. So that's good. Don't forget to share with friends. Tell people about it. If you have other writer friends, regardless of the genre or whatever, feel free to send stuff in. You can leave us. You can hit me up on any of these social media sites. Send me a message, whatever, and we'll make sure and connect and get you on the show. Which probably
info@tomlevine.com.
That is correct. But you know what else we can do with this? Is you see this guy right here? Is we can have other people on the show, and they don't have to download anything.
That's
which is pretty cool. Which means we can still stream all of it. But not on here. It's a whole thing. We're figuring it out as we go. Anyway, thank you.
By the time 2020 is over,
which is very soon.
Very soon. I have January 1 on my calendar.
Yay! Anyway, and I don't think we have anything else really coming up. So just tune in next week, and we'll see what we've got going on. I have no idea, but do share with your friends. Let them know whether they're writers or not. And if you have any ideas or suggestions for the show, for that matter, go ahead and let me know, because I'm always looking to keep it fresh and new and exciting and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be cool. And thanks to David for submitting. And just a reminder, David and everybody, it takes enormous courage to do this.
Seriously.
Whether it feels like it or not, it does. It takes a lot of guts to put something out on public like that and to share it and see what people think about it. So that's very cool. Very, very awesome for you to do that. Keep writing, everybody. And we'll see you next week. In the meantime, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. And may you be peaceful and at ease. We'll see you next week. Be safe. Wear your mask for the love of God.
Stay home.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.